Hello everyone, so I hope you're all having a great day. Now, what I'm about to talk about is something that's going to be very controversial, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for it, but please just hear me out. Now, one of the things a lot of people have been really talking about lately is the fact that the Xbox One and PS4 are not able to do 1080p on every single game. For example, Watch Dogs, it's not going to be able to do 1080p on either system. Now, a lot of people are really worried about this, and some people make it sound as if they're hoping that the systems will be able to do 4K later down the line. Now, there's a couple of good reasons as to why the systems will never be able to do 4K, and one of those things is just the horsepower. It doesn't have anywhere near enough horsepower to be able to do so, even if you're just talking about a small indie title that isn't really too demanding in order to actually be able to run. The other limiting factor, which this is a big one that a lot of people really don't know about, is actually the HDMI connection that is outputting to your TV. Now, HDMI is only capable of being able to do 4K at 30 Hz, which limits you from being able to do any higher than 30 frames per second. So the refresh rate basically limits how many frames it's able to display and put on the screen every single second. And even if you think that 30 frames per second is perfectly fine if it's at 4K, I might end up being the first one to let you know that just browsing the dashboard or the menu at a 30 Hz refresh rate is extremely unusable. Now, when it comes to the limits of HDMI connection, this is the top reason why a lot of early 4K screens only had 30 Hz on them, and the ones that did do 60 Hz had two HDMI connections in order to be able to do 60 Hz. Now, a lot of the 30 Hz 4K monitors, there's a good reason as to why they're not really selling well and not very many people are buying them, and that's because some people tested them out, and just using your computer for basic things like web browsing and just moving your mouse cursor around, there's a huge difference between 60 Hz and 30 Hz, and is really just unusable for most people. It's good for a viewing experience or if you're watching something, but for just doing basic things on the computer, it's absolutely unbearable. Now, HDMI 2.0 is a new connection that is going to be able to do 4K at 60 Hz, but because of the date that the Xbox One and PS4 were released and made, they're using only regular HDMI, and because of that, they're limited to 4K at 30 Hz. So even if the systems had the raw horsepower to be able to do 4K, it wouldn't be able to go any higher than 30 Hz. And because of that limiting factor, people would absolutely hate to just use their dashboard menu and just simple things on their system simply because it would just be unbearable and just super slow and choppy feeling, almost like when you get a really crappy computer or something. So I hope this gives you guys an idea as to why the systems will never be able to do 4K. That's just the bottom line. But I can still very much understand as to why people are scared that the systems aren't able to do at least 1080p without a problem. And that has to do with the lifespan of the systems. The fact that they're supposed to last 10 years and the fact that we're not able to do 1080p so easily now makes people feel like that later down the line we might actually end up at a point to where the games are going to be sub HD just like the previous gens. Now, on both the Xbox 360 and PS3, the games weren't in true 720p or 1080p. When you changed from 720p to 1080p, you did actually notice a difference, and there was a difference, but they weren't actually 1080p or 720p. They were at weird resolutions that were higher than 480p, but definitely not 720p or 1080p, and they would use things like anti-aliasing and other techniques to make it look like it's HD. And most people don't want things to end up like that on these new systems later down the line. So it's a really big worry, and the systems, I can easily tell you right off the bat, they are going to improve, they are going to become more powerful, there are going to be improvements made, and the systems might get overclocked so the GPU might become more powerful, and they could do some tweaking. There's a lot of things that could happen that could at least postpone that and lower the chance of us entering into another sub-HD generation. But other than that, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video and got an understanding. If you have any very specific questions or anything you would love to add, then make sure to post something in the comments section below. So thank you again guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.